Hey guys, today I'm going to go over the main sets in the Scarlet and Violet era to see if Scarlet and Violet is really that bad. So we're going to look at the booster box prices and then look at the cards inside of each set and compare them and see if there's, future potential for any of these sets and if they're going to do well in the long run. So I wanted to make this video because there's just been so much negativity with Scarlet and Violet, including myself. Like, I only have one case of booster boxes from the Scarlet and Violet era, and one of those reasonings being is that the price just really isn't moving that much, so I'm not really in a rush to buy them. So yeah, I just want to talk about this because I think there's just been like a big downfall in terms of like popularity in Pokemon, because you can see that with the booster box prices. Obviously, they're not doing that well. Most of them are under $100. But let's take a look at each one and see what we have going on here. So the first one is Scarlet and Violet base. So Scarlet and Violet base, you can see, is right now at $88, and it's just been kind of at a plateau here, you can see. And you could have actually got these on Black Friday for I think like $79. There was one seller on eBay for selling from like $80. I was actually thinking about buying them, but I didn't. So right now they're at $88. So let's look at the cards inside. So when we see the cards inside, obviously the Miriam is the most popular card in here. Then Gardevoir, and then you got the Miraidon, and then then it just goes down from there. There's really no super expensive cards in the set. However, the Miriam is still a really nice card that I feel like is chaseable. Like, people are gonna want to buy this box in the future just to get this card. And yeah, so it's not a bad set. So if you compare this to the box price, I mean, obviously this is not that expensive. But, there's other sets out there that I'm going to show you later where, the card price doesn't really matter that much because, the box price will still go up regardless. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that later. But, Scarlet and Violet base isn't the worst base set in my opinion. Like, I feel like, the Sword and Shield base wasn't much better. If anything, is worse. Next here we have Paldea Evolved. In my opinion, this is probably one of the better, Scarlet and Violet era sets that have come out so far. So you can see right now it's sitting at $94, and just like, Scarlet and Violet base hasn't really done anything. It's just kind of at a plateau. It's gone up and down, but still, if you look at where it started and where it's at now, it's still, the same at $94. But if you look at the cards in the set, it has the Iona. It has two Iona full arts, so you can see these are actually pretty expensive. I'm pretty sure this might actually be the most expensive card out of all these main sets, if I'm correct. So yeah, it's at $76. So when you compare it to the box price, it's not terrible, So these Iona cards obviously are, chase cards, the Magikarp, and it has a lot of really nice illustration rares and special illustration rares in the set, in my opinion, compared to the other sets. So in my opinion, this is probably the one that I would go for, that I probably will get a case of booster boxes in the future, because I just feel like there's just a lot of nice artworks in the set. Next here is Obsidian Flames. Now, Obsidian Flames is the one set that I actually have a case of booster boxes for. And I got it for a pretty good deal, which is pretty much the only reason why I got it. You can see right now it's at $104. So, it's gone up since the beginning, but there has been ups and downs. So it's up $10 from 3 months ago at $104. And when you look at the cards in the set, you can see it's basically just Charizard, and that's it. So you're just banking on people pretty much just wanting, these Charizard cards. Because if you see, after the Charizard, it's pretty much all under $10. So there's really not much here except for this card. So yes, I do have it because I believe that people, Charizard or whatever, the whole thing with, if it has a Charizard or, a really popular Pokemon featured, could do well. And I know this might be kind of, contradicting what I said before about, Darkness Ablaze, but I'll talk about that. But yeah, this is basically it. Just this card at $50. Compared to the box price, it's not the greatest, but yeah. Next here we have Paradox Rift. So Paradox Rift is obviously, the newest main set. So right now it's sitting at $90 and really hasn't done much. It's kind of just been at a, up and down, and just pretty much it's the same price that it was 3 months ago at $90. And when you look at the cards in the set, you can see the most expensive one is $66, this Roaring Moon. Honestly, I don't know too much about these like new Pokemon, but in my opinion, the art in this set isn't as good as like Paldea Evolved. But you can see there are actually a lot more cards, that are a little bit more expensive, above $10. So this is not a bad set. I feel like this is probably the second best set in the Scarlet and Violet era so far. But yeah, so now I want to talk about, some sets in the Sword and Shield era that didn't have good cards in them, but still are going up in price. So obviously you guys know I don't like Darkness Ablaze. Like, I think this is a trash set. But you can see the booster box price is at $150. And when we look at the cards inside of it, the most expensive card is $25. So you can see, you know, that's the only chase. And that's what I was kind of like saying, like, I feel like, you know, at least Obsidian Flames, it, you know, I bought it just for the Charizard. But I feel like it still has a little bit more than just Darkness Ablaze, because Darkness Ablaze literally has just, you know, rainbow rares and stuff. But you can still see, you know, there's bad sets in Sword and Shield era that have done pretty well. Next is Rebel Clash. I know this is a really popular one everyone knows of, that is a terrible set and still is like above $200. So this one's at $230 right now. If you look at the growth in even just a year, it actually hasn't gone up that much, only $20 in a year. I mean, it's still gone up, it hasn't gone down. But yeah, if you look at the cards in this set, it really isn't that good. I mean, yeah, it has more cards over $10 than, you know, Darkness Ablaze. I mean, it is a little bit more expensive, also the box, but regardless, it doesn't really have any expensive cards or any real chase cards in here, maybe other than these two full arts, but I mean, that's about it. So what's the verdict? What do I think about, you know, the Scarlet and Violet era? So if you notice other eras, even in, you know, Sword and Shield, you'll notice that a lot of the, you know, first few sets that come out usually aren't that great. You know, with, you know, Sword and Shield, you have the Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Darkness Ablaze, I think Vivid Voltage. They weren't that great, obviously, and it got better after time, and hopefully that will happen with Scarlet and Violet. I think that, you know, right now, as it is, you might want to hold off on buying some of these Scarlet and Violet boxes, because they really aren't moving that much right now, because I just feel like there isn't that much demand for them and there's still a lot of supply. But I feel like as time goes on, maybe it'll get better. But as for now, I don't think these Scarlet and Violet sets are very good, other than Paldea Evolved. I feel like this is actually a pretty good set as it is, but yeah, I would wait a little bit. I'd be patient, because it's not like before in, you know, Sword and Shield, where just box prices were just, you know, skyrocketing up, and they are right now. These are kind of, as you can see through all of them, pretty stagnant. So I would just wait till new sets come out. But that's just my opinion. But I think these can still do good in the long run, but it might just be a little bit slower, just like, you know, Darkness Ablaze and Rebel Clash. I feel like they're just going to plateau off. So yeah, there's definitely potential, but it just might be a little bit slower. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and tell me what you guys think about my perspective on this. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.